One of my critics commented recently that if Trump ever leaves office or dies, I'll be out of a job. I had to remind him that I'm already out of a job, have been for a couple of decades. But as far as Trump goes and what's happening there, pure pleasure. I get the guy's point, though. Almost all of my comments seem to have something to do with Trump, because every day he does something seemingly worse than what he did the previous day, particularly since he's been so dedicated to making us forget the Epstein files and whatever the hell it is in there that is so damaging. But in all fairness, it's not just me. You can't watch a single TV news program, whether it be left or right down the middle, that isn't similarly covering the latest outrage from Fat Don and the Loonies. My name, by the way, for the new White House rock band. And I'm sure the editors and producers of all these outlets are as sick of talking about Trump as I am. But if we're doing our jobs, we have no choice. Because like it or not, Donald J. Trump is president of the United States of America. I know a lot of people say, well, he's not my goddamn president. I didn't vote for him. Unfortunately, he is. So any president's going to get a lot of news coverage because he occupies the office of what they call the most powerful person in the world. I throw up a little bit in my mouth every time I say that. But anyway, there's that. Without question, I think Trump is unique as presidents go, and not in a good way. On radio, TV, podcasts, print articles, Trump is the man. And this is really annoying. But what's even more annoying is that it's Trump's wet dream. He has craved attention ever since he left his daddy's side. He was raised by his family, particularly his father, Fred, as the golden child. Fred molded little Donnie in his own image. He was raised to think of himself as one of the chosen few. Rules that applied to others didn't apply to him. He was a prince, and the world was his for the taking. As a consequence, he became a megalomaniac whose drug was attention. He craved attention like an addict craves the next fix. When he didn't get enough notice, he actually adopted another name, John Barron, calling up columnists purporting to be a PR flack, and raved about this Donald Trump guy, how smart he was, how intoxicating he was to women. And that's when he overplayed his hand, because instead of the intended effect, it caused him to be the object of ridicule and scorn. He regularly appeared in the National Enquirer alongside Michael Jackson and his pet chimpanzee, Bubbles. On my radio show, I used to do a feature called Weirdities in the News, and Trump was one of my star performers. The whole world seemed to be laughing at him and his orange hair and face. He even sued Bill Maher for claiming his grandfather was an orangutan. And that's where his need for revenge and plans for retribution began. The worst day of his life was when Barack Obama destroyed him at a White House Correspondents' Dinner. He hates Obama for that, hates it to this day. I mean, he hates a lot of people, but his hatred of Obama, that's on a whole other level. So now Trump lives in a world where his image is everywhere. His posts get giant pictures of himself on tall buildings. He plans to build what has been called the Arc de Trump, like a tacky Arc de Triomphe that will last through the ages. But I think the statue that would most reflect Trump is Vlad the Impaler. Now, Vlad, there's a guy who really knows how to get attention.